Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a topic video on top 10 best written Disney Channel TV shows. Now this was a topic I came up with myself because I did run out of some topic videos, so if you guys have any suggestions for future topic videos, please let me know in the comments below. If I answer them, that means in a couple of weeks I'll either be on Comic Uno or Comic Frontline, and I double dose my topic videos. So usually for Comic Frontline they are every Sunday or Monday, and for Comic Uno I have them every Friday with my comic book reviews. So be sure to recommend away. But let's start talking about this topic, a topic I've had on my list for a long time, but didn't really have a chance to do, and finally making a video about it, which is top 10 best written Disney Channel shows. Now, I'm going to 10 to 1, and of course this is my personal opinion. I'm sure nostalgia plays a little part of it because I grew up with Disney Channel, but also as a critic now, I like seeing what type of programming they have, and I've seen episodes, obviously, of the newer stuff too, to kind of see the field of what Disney Channel has. Also, I will include that this does not include acquired television shows like, you know, The Little Mermaid, and, you know, a lot of the animated shows were acquired to Disney Channel from, and even, you know, Disney XD shows or Toon Disney shows I didn't count because they are part of different channels. So this is original programming for Disney Channel. That is what I included on the list. But if you want like a Toon Disney, Disney XD stuff, maybe that'll be another list. But moving on to number 10. Which is The Proud Family. The Proud Family was a really fun show for me growing up, but as I got older, I understood the importance of the show for representation. It was really great for that aspect, and also just the family aspect. It was fun. I loved Sugar Mama, you know? It was a fun show. Who could forget the Destiny's Child theme song for The Proud Family? So overall, again, great show for representation, but it was also just a fun animated show that I enjoyed as a kid and definitely could watch a couple episodes here and there as an adult. Now moving on to number 9, which is a newer show which I have a respect for, that I haven't watched every episode of, but I definitely could see is a well-written show, and that is Phineas and Ferb. Phineas and Ferb had a nice premise, which is just these kids during summer being bored and coming up with all these inventions. Now why the show is important is to open creativity for children, and that's what it really did here, but also opened up this kind of family dynamic between Candace and Phineas and Ferb, which was a lot of fun too. So I have respect for the creativity aspect of Phineas and Ferb, which is why it is number 9. And also Disney Channel kind of going back to cartoons, because for a while there, they didn't have a lot of original cartoons, so it was nice to bring back that aspect of Disney Channel. Now moving on to number 8, which is also a newer show that just recently got canceled, and I have not seen every episode of, but definitely have seen enough episodes of this show, and that is Girl Meets World. Now Girl Meets World, I think had a shaky season 1, but really had some interesting storylines as the show went on. My favorite episode being, of course, the Dark Knight Rises episode, not the Rises, Dark Knight Returns episode, where they talk about the comic book and teaching comics in the classroom, and I thought that was cool. And I think it's an interesting nostalgic show for people that love Boy Meets World. I think it definitely gave you enough fan service there, but it wasn't just fan service. They actually made the newer characters interesting and have their own story, which is important for a show like this. Moving on to number 7. Now this I think is a more nostalgic show, but also I think it's an important show too because it kind of started this whole bang of Disney Channel. And as Lizzie McGuire. Lizzie McGuire kind of started this fanness of Disney Channel that kids, you know, couldn't have enough of these television shows. And Lizzie McGuire kind of started that. You had the movie, you had merchandise, you know, Hilary Duff became a huge star because of the show. And Lizzie, you know, what's cool about it, I'm not saying it's like the best sitcom ever, because I don't think the jokes land as much now as an adult as they did as a kid, and there's some cheesy parts to it, but the importance of the show is, you know, having a normal girl as the lead, and, you know, having normal friends, dealing with normal middle school / high school aspects. That is why the show is on the list and why it's an important show to watch. Now moving on to number 6 is a newer show that I was impressed with when I watched it, and that is Good Luck Charlie. Now this is a show I remember kind of ignoring when it first came out, but then I caught an episode here and there, and I like that this show kind of plays off a regular sitcom. Now a lot of Disney Channel shows I feel like target just kids, but Good Luck Charlie, it felt like an ABC sitcom, or, you know, I would say ABC sitcom is the best way to put it. So, you know, I like that aspect of the show, or even like a freeform sitcom. It felt like that, you know, a family can really enjoy. I think the jokes landed mostly because the actors were solid. You know, I feel like the whole family, there wasn't really a weak aspect for the actors, and that is why the show is a bit higher, is because of the comedic timing of the show. Moving on to number 5, this is a show I loved as a kid and still can watch to this day, and that is American Dragon Jake Long. What I love about this show is the different style of animation, of course, but also the mythology it builds, and not just for Jake being a dragon, but the family aspect of being a dragon, and then I love the kind of, you know, will they, won't they situation between Jake and Rose, but then having that intense background story with Rose hunting dragons. Such a fun show that, like I said, I could watch over and over again. So I feel like this is an underrated show also. I don't hear enough people talking about it. Moving on to number 4, this is an important show because it hit more than just the female demographic. It hit really female and male demographic, and that is Phil of the Future. This was a fun show too, just seeing all the different gadgets that they would have every week, but it was important because, like I said, it actually targeted both boys and girls, where Disney Channel shows usually target girl audiences, and then they usually leave like Toon Disney and Disney XD for the boys. So I was glad to see a show that was targeting both demographics, with Phil being the main character, but then you have Keely, the best friend, who kind of was more relatable for the girls. So I always had a fun time with this show, and it is also another fun aspect of will they, won't they between the two main characters. And still a big Ali Mashaka fan, watching her on iZombie now. Moving on to number 3, another important show, and that is That's So Raven. When this first came out, I remember seeing the promo of the show. I'm like, I can't wait for this, you know, this girl telling the future. And this also goes to a good cast, especially Raven has, you know, tremendously good comedic timing because of her time on The Cosby Show, and that really played a part in her being a great lead for That's So Raven, but they also target kind of social issues in the show too, which is important, but I like that it was like the secret identity aspect of her hiding her visions, which kind of started this secret identity storylines that became popular in Disney Channel, like Wizards of Waverly Place and most popular Hannah Montana, which I will say I didn't add Hannah Montana on the list because I don't know if it's the best written show, even though I think there's significance for the show from Disney Channel, but I don't know if it's the best written, especially the later seasons. Anyways, going on to number 2, which is Wizards of Waverly Place, which I just mentioned, also goes to great acting throughout all the actors on the show, and Selena Gomez being a tremendous lead for this show. But it also, like I mentioned with like Jake Long, is the mythology aspect. I like that they added this world of wizards and understanding how it works in this world. And it was more than just like, here's a comedy episode. Every episode built on each other, and you actually had a kind of a serialized storyline, which was kind of different for Disney Channel. More than like, oh, here's a random episode, it's a comedy, just watch it. So I like that aspect of Wizards of Waverly Place. And the ending didn't disappoint either. It was a solid from beginning to end. Now moving on to number 1, which is Kim Possible. Now this show is not just an important Disney Channel show, but I think it's just an important animated show in general. It's about this regular teenage girl who is a cheerleader and fights crime, and just kind of shows anything is possible. It puts a lot of tropes on its head, where it's usually like the cheerleader character would be the damsel in distress, but they reverse it, where it's Ron who's the damsel in distress, the best friend, and, you know, Kim's always saving the day. But it never making Ron, I would say, a stupid character, because that that character grows a lot to become his own type of hero. Once again, a show with a lot of great mythology, and it's a superhero show. You know, it's a superhero show without wearing a mask, and that was a ton of fun with Kim Possible. Also, animation was great for the show too. So yes, that is my #1 best written show for Disney Channel. But let me know in the comments below, what is your top 10 favorite shows at Disney Channel or best written shows? Because I think there is a bit of a difference, because you have to take your nostalgia out a little bit with this list. But please let me know in the comments below what you think. This is Comic Uno. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there are links for my comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter. And don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father, Like Daughter. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.